What's going on, Walking Dead fans? We are back. The Walking Dead is balancing again between two timelines. There is a bittersweet reunion between Jocelyn and Michonne. Michonne, we find out why she's closed off to Alexandria and that she has a change of heart with Judith. We've got our favorite segment coming up, plus some news and gossip. Do not move a muscle.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's going on, Walking Dead fans? We've got a full panel, you guys! I'm very excited about it. Clearly, we are all very excited about it. I am joined by my lovely ladies. Since there's so many of us, go ahead and introduce yourself, guys.
I'll start.
Yes.
Hi, guys. I'm your host, Krista Flengy.
Hey guys, I'm Angele Taylor.
And I'm April Wissenham.
And I am Timothy Michael. I'm so excited we're all here tonight,
I know,
you guys.
this is great.
too.
And a perfect episode to be here for.
I was just stealing the words
I'm
out of
so
my mouth.
sorry.
You're starting already. No, I love it. I love it. I am so excited about this episode. I was excited about last episode. I'm sorry that I missed it, you guys. So I might go jumping back and forth between my opinions. But I do want to focus on this episode tonight. This episode, season 9, episode 14, called Scars. We find out a lot tonight, you guys. There are some flashbacks. We find out a lot of what happened. There's some what do they call it? Loose ends that are tied up.
Yes.
Kind of. They're still opening some things up. I want to hear your overall thoughts on the episode.
I'm so happy that we finally, I know there's still questions that need to be answered, but for like so many weeks we kept being like, what's this dark time that happened during, you know, that hiatus we had, the 8-year gap that makes Michonne not want to let anyone in.
Yeah.
And we finally got a little bit of that. Which actually a lot of that because that was dark. But I'm so glad we finally got it because I was like, what happened to her? That I know Rick died, but that happened to her.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was, the whole entire thing was just so, like, emotionally draining, but in a good way. Because you see, you know, it's like just when I think I'm able to not move past, or God, I'll never move past Rick, but like maybe stop thinking about it as much, they take me right back in, and it's right back into Daryl and Michonne looking for him, and just in those moments, you know, with her finding the gun, and honestly just seeing her as being pregnant and still searching for him, it was just like this, you know, this is never gonna go away for them, and to see, you know, that they kind of went through something. It's not like a long, drawn-out thing like it was with the Saviors or like it is with the Whisperers. Like, this is kind of a, you know, maybe a few-day type thing. But it made that much of a literal scar on them. Plus, with the kids, like, they haven't hit us like that with something like sadistic like
That
this
was
in a
dark.
while.
Yeah.
I was really glad that they brought up Michonne and Rick's baby again because they touched on it and then they let it go. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how could you let that go? I want to see more. And then to show the pregnancy and that whole thing, her being lonely and then Daryl being lonely, and Daryl's like, I'm actually okay with being alone. I mean, I don't know about you. Yeah. But so I was really glad that, like you said, they tied up a couple of loose ends, and I'm glad that they took the focus off of the Whisperers just for this hot second, you know, because I was like getting overwhelmed a bit.
Yeah.
Angela, I'm
With
glad
that
you brought
group.
up the whole pregnancy thing, because I know we predicted a couple of episodes ago, at least I did, about Rosita's pregnancy and how I honestly don't think that they're going to show her pregnant because she's just one of those characters where I can't imagine her being pregnant. And then I predicted that she would lose the baby and all this other stuff. And I felt the same way about Michonne, which is why I'm glad they did this flashback, because we got to see her in this vulnerable state, but it's freaking Michonne, and she's not vulnerable ever, even when she's like 8 months pregnant and's got this huge belly. How did you guys feel about the balancing between the two timelines in this episode? Did you like the flashbacks? Were you confused by them?
I think they did a good job with it. Yeah.
I'm so glad her hair was different. That was how I was able to keep
That's a good
up.
point.
It's like, okay, she has the shaved head in current time, and then the flashback, she has the full dreads. And that's how I was able to, like, keep everything in alignment.
Because they did
in my
move
head.
around a lot. So it was like back and forth. So you had to be on it.
And
There
you
was a few, but
You couldn't always see her stomach was the bad thing. I mean, like, you could, but she's still like a, you know, they made her a very tiny, fit, pregnant woman, which is how she would be in real life, I presume.
With a fuller face.
Well, yeah, true. Yes, definitely. But I liked that they did it because I like going back to my Rick times. Like, it, you know, it's just such a, you have to move on as a show, obviously, but it's also like, it does a lot of justice to his character and everything that's gone on. And I think they had to do that because of all the stuff with Judith
Yes.
Yeah.
tonight. I mean, like, just to be able to kind of explain.
Yeah.
Which, dear Lord, I can't even
This
talk about her right now.
episode
Oh
was
my God.
Judith heavy, and I was here for
Yeah,
it.
I liked
Agreed.
it.
I like that.
Agreed. Now, this isn't the first time that the Walking Dead universe has played with the balancing of timelines. They've done flashbacks and presents before. They've done a lot of them, actually. In the Fear the Walking Dead, they do it, and in The Walking Dead, they do it. In Fear the Walking Dead, when they do it, there's more of like a color change, if you will, when it comes to the present and the
There's a filter.
timeline. Exactly. And I felt the same way with this episode. I felt like when it was flashback, it was more like sepia toned. I don't know if you guys realized that. And then it was when the current, it was more of like, just color.
Today,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And I like that they do that just to keep us on, because like you said, Krista, when they do the jumping back and forth, it does kind of get hard to follow, especially like oh my God, April said, it's hard when they're not showing her pregnant, or when you don't see her hair. It's just weird when you can't stay on top of it because they're jumping around so much.
Right.
But I do like it because it does keep us on our toes.
It does.
Same.
How did you guys feel about the whole thing with Lydia? Because I wasn't here last week. They finally get to the hilltop with her. I mean, sorry, they get to Alexandria with her. And this kind of sets off Michonne's why she's hesitant to let people in.
Yeah.
But it's honestly because of Daryl that she's with her. Daryl's vouching for her. But still, you can kind of see the struggle between her and Aaron about letting this one person in. Plus, if you guys notice, she's a kid.
Yeah.
Which is just total foreshadowing to what happens. So how did you feel about her, just this kind of hesitation to be okay, open the gate?
I mean, they should be more hesitant. I
Yeah,
think.
no, I agree. And then, but what kind of made me angry with Michonne is once they did let them in and everything, Michonne sat on the steps with her and gave her that whole you should leave.
Yeah.
But didn't say it like that,
Well-
if I could go back and do things, which I get where Michonne was going from, but she also doesn't know Henry's just gonna go find her again, and then that's gonna put Daryl in trouble again. So it's and also she is just a kid, so this is so tough. And they do end up leaving, and I know she's putting the whole group in danger being there, but then you should have never let her in the first place. Don't let her in and then be like, you should leave.
Exactly.
It didn't come across to me as she was saying you should leave. It came across as a threat. If you cause any type of funk, I'm coming for you. So this is your fair warning. Get out now.
Yeah.
And if you're completely innocent and you're ready to walk a straight line, then,
Yeah, I took it because
stay.
she was talking about her past, and she's like, if I could just go back and make it easier, I would just take myself out of the situation.
Yeah.
And she kept saying, if I could just take myself out and not hurt anyone else. And she
Well-
just kept hanging on that. And I was like, you're telling her to just leave. Because obviously she wants Henry safe.
Yeah,
Henry's her
right.
people, Daryl's her people, and she knows at the end of the day that she's going to leave that they're all going to leave with Lydia. So she's probably like, how do I separate them so Daryl and them stay safe? And which I get, but...
I guess I just keep going back to it would have been, we talk a lot about Henry being very naive. And clearly the reason
So
he is
naive.
that Lydia is there is because of Henry, obviously. It would have been a great way to kind of teach Henry that lesson. I mean, okay, maybe it's teaching the lesson of when good people come in, we should let them in, we should help them, whatever. But it's not when it's gonna take down so
Not
many
when their
others.
people are crazy.
It's it's that age-old question: save the one or save the many.
Right.
There's never a perfect answer to that scenario, but it is straight up Henry just being dumb because he liked this girl a little bit. He has no idea what she's done or who she is, and that's the whole point. And that's even to Judith's point later about letting the people in and going to help Hilltop and whatever, but it's just a different scenario.
It's helping your people versus helping
versus helping a stranger,
Yeah.
because you're about to cause a huge potential massacre
Shakedown.
by doing what you did.
Which
Right.
that kind of makes me like Michonne's talk a little bit better too, because if Lydia likes Henry as much as Henry obviously likes Lydia, she knows how dangerous Alpha is, and so she knows that following them is only going to bring trouble.
So let's put this out there. Do you guys think that Lydia is being genuine with her affection for Henry?
I honestly think that after she saw that there is a life outside of what she's known, that
she's getting better.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think that this is years of just brainwashing. So I could understand why people would be hesitant to trust her. I mean, I think we all should be.
Yeah.
But I do think that she is genuine in how she cares for these people and understands that these people have risked their lives for her. And she's starting to slowly realize that that's what a family is, and it's not somebody who tries to close you off to everything and everybody.
I mean, that's a really good point, obviously. It's not like this chick is, Harry Potter about to go sacrifice herself to Voldemort. Like, sorry, my nerd just came out. But
I love it. I'm here for it.
That's all I can think of, Okay, like, obviously, let's guess she's 15 years old. We don't know. But it's not like, by Michonne being like, hey, you should leave. She's going to go sacrifice herself because essentially that's what she would be doing. And at this point, it's almost just like too late, which is why I do think her feelings are genuine, but I think they are genuine because, well, at this point, what else can she do? And also, definitely what you said, you can see this kind of epiphany come over her whenever she sees all of them interacting like, oh, this is how people treat each other, not like this. But it is still her mom, and it is still these people that she grew up with. So that's the only thing that scares me a little bit.
So it does feel kind of selfish in a way, almost, her not wanting to go back because she wants to try this life, but also knowing that's hard.
What she's risking.
At first I did feel she was a little bit less genuine, but I think, as times went on, she's starting to adjust and she can see what could be.
Trust her.
I know there is still
That's okay,
hard.
Angel.
No,
That's
it's
okay.
good.
Yeah. We can understand why you do not. I mean, if we
She's hard to trust.
Proceed with
She
caution.
is hard to trust.
Proceed with caution.
Yeah.
And like she won over Daryl's affection too. So
Quick.
I was just like, really, Daryl? Like,
It seemed quick for Daryl. Daryl's usually very...
I think it's because of their connection that they have with their whole abusive
abuse.
past.
Yeah.
And I love
she's
that
a
they're
young girl, and
Exactly.
he always for kids too. He's got a soft spot.
That's true. he
Especially
does.
young ladies. Have we not noticed that?
I mean,
this
that's
season?
her.
Good
Yes,
point.
agreed. That's a good point. I like that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Krista. That's
I
actually
think it's
a really
because
good
of
point.
Henry too, though. Like because of Henry being Carol's son. I didn't mean to use air quotes.
Yes.
But he is her
I
son.
didn't even think about that, their relationship.
And
Yeah.
he's trying to
that
protect
dynamic.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if he is, I mean, obviously he was like, no, she's got to go, whatever. And then Henry went after her. So
Yeah.
there's only, it's just like Judith tonight. There are only so many ways you can be like, no, you're not doing this. If they just keep going
Damn
after it, you have to
kids.
figure out another plan. Exactly. They're going to get our favorite people killed and I'm going to be pissed.
Right. And let's be real. If Carol found out that something happened to Henry under Daryl's watch,
Oh my gosh.
it would be bad.
He would never forget
Daryl,
himself, for sure.
right?
There will be hell to pay.
Yes.
More souls will burn.
That was
Yes.
that's a battle I don't ever want to see.
No, that would be really crazy.
That'd be kind of I'm interested.
She will turn into
Just
short
plan
hair
stuff.
Carol.
Yes,
Oh, yes.
she would chop all her hair off and she would
She
go
cut
after
her
Daryl.
hair off and
Oh,
she'd
yeah.
go rogue again.
She'd be ready for battle. Speaking of Daryl really quick, he has this moment with Judith, and we haven't really seen a moment between him and Judith before.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was him, like, I don't know the exact way to say it, but it was like him talking to Rick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they haven't had a moment together, especially after Rick has died.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed seeing that, and I enjoyed this whole battle between people saying, we have to protect Alexandra, we have to protect our people, and Judith going back to what Carl and Rick have always said and saying, we have to invite more people in, like we have to protect people, and
Right.
it's this ongoing battle. What did you guys think? Who do you still side? Who do you side with?
Jesus.
I was like,
Do you mean Jesus? Jesus, because Jesus died.
I don't know. It's just so hard. It's like I get both of their points.
Right.
I get wanting to like see the good in everyone and bring more people in because what's the point if you don't? But I also get not everyone's good as we've seen and whose life is worth risking, and I don't know if there's a right answer. I really,
I mean, they clearly need to go back to asking their 3 questions. We haven't heard them do that in a long
Brilliant.
time. That's how they used to do it.
They need a
How do we-
vetting process.
Yes. How do we let these people in? How do we know? Now it's like, we let you in, you go, like, we hold you in a dungeon for a little bit, but then, like, when can we ultimately, figure out if we actually trust you or not?
Yeah.
I go both ways on it, truly, because I think the moment with Daryl and oh my god, I almost forgot her name for a second. Oh my god, I did forget her name. Judith. I was like, Sophia. What the heck?
Wow, you're bringing it back.
No, it's good. Someone mentioned Sophia earlier in the chat, and which
Okay.
I'll talk about in a little bit. But I think the moment between Daryl and Judith was so special, just because it's kind of like the moments with her and Negan. Like he's truthful to her, and it is like he's talking to a friend. But whenever she asked him, what would my dad do? And he kind of didn't say anything. I'm like, your dad would say, hell no, nobody's coming in here. Like, he went through these phases as well. So you have to, like,
Yes.
think
He
about that.
oscillated
Yes.
back and forth between good guy, I don't want to say this, but savior, and, you know,
Yeah,
like,
the whole him coming to
every
terms
man
was
for
at the end.
himself, like, well, every community for himself,
Yeah.
because he always stayed loyal and stayed true to his community.
That's true.
And then he wasn't really crazy about outsiders, but that was later on in the season.
Yeah.
Right.
Beforehand, he was like, everybody we can find, let's bring them in, love on them, and let's all survive together.
Yeah. And but
Yeah,
that was
he went back
before,
and
you know,
forth.
they almost got eaten by cannibals and whatever, you know, at all these different times throughout the show. But it's also the thing that I keep forgetting is it's not new people,
Right.
it's their people.
Yeah.
That they're not even at this point really talking about letting other people in. It's just doing whatever they can to help Hilltop
Yeah.
and help Kingdom,
And
where
that's-
Carol is and everyone is.
I don't agree. I'm like, y'all just get together in one community. Let's just be,
Let's not be
you're
separated.
safer in numbers anyway. It's just like piling. I don't know.
They're being
It's
too
so
stubborn.
confusing
Yeah.
to like compartmentalize these people into these different communities.
Yeah.
And then they're going to spin off into another community.
I know. And it's like, I know you need to fit them all in one place and have enough resources, but like, figure it out. That's what you should be working towards.
Well, you guys don't believe that it's smarter for them to be in separate places, because if they're all in one place, it
They
just
can all
makes
be
it
attacked.
easier.
But then
Exactly,
there's
just
more
one target.
numbers if you need to go to war, you know? What if the whisperers come?
But here's my thing:
I think they coming.
we've seen them
Exactly.
do this before. We've seen them go from the jail. We've seen
there's no
we've
hope.
seen the whole governor and his people in one spot. Like we've seen
Yeah.
all these people in
That's
one spot,
true.
and they always fall. So maybe it's a good thing that they're in separate areas.
So if like one falls, they can go to the next.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
look at the Saviors. The Saviors were smart because they were in different outposts. They had different areas, and they were one of the hardest to take down.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So
you just
I
won that
think-
argument. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. It's just so frustrating.
I know it's frustrating,
You're
especially
right,
when you don't have
though.
a cell phone to be like, where you at?
Yeah. I know
What's
you
going
have to
on?
like send a letter. One person goes on horseback. It's
Or
just,
send a raven
Yeah.
like Game of
Yeah.
Thrones.
There you
Yes,
go.
yes,
An owl.
I love
We
that.
could go
I
hear
love
that.
that. I know. Next month, you guys, Game of Thrones is coming back. I want to ask you guys this because you did bring up Rick, Angele. I want to know if you guys think that it's unfair for Rick to ask, because you had said, you know, Rick had these like going back and forth between, hey, we need to bring people in, or no, we can't bring anybody in.
Yeah.
Do you think it's unfair for him to ask what he asked when he asked it? Like he was just about to die. Carl had just died. Now he's like, I think that we should bring everybody in. And now you're dead. So it's like, well, now we have to let people
Yeah.
in because
Yeah.
this is what like your dying wish was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, in his defense, he didn't know he was gonna croak.
Right.
I mean, technically he didn't croak.
Yeah, and
Right.
technically he's
Right.
still there. But I think it's because of Carl dying that is a lot of it has a lot to do with it too. Obviously, as we saw. So yeah.
He did kind of come to that realization
Yeah.
before he died, or quote
disappears.
unquote died. Yes,
Right.
before he was gone from the show. I mean, that was like the whole bridge thing. It was, you know, Carl's death was the catalyst of him being like, this is what Carl really wanted. He's right. This is what we should do. You know, he freaking slit someone's throat and was like, all right, stitch him up. So he kind of did come to it before he died, but it's also like, you know, the deathbed wish. You realize
Right.
everything that you've done wrong and, you know, that
Make
this
it
is wrong.
different.
But it's also like, it's unfair in the sense of because they were so unstable at that point. Granted, in comparison to what they've been before, they were technically very stable. You know, they're building bridges and have all these
Right,
groups and whatever. But it is a look kind of like, this is what you should do. Everybody figure it out.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's Carl's dying wish though, more so than Rick's. Like
Yeah.
to me, I feel like Rick was just perpetuating his legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think definitely.
Maybe it's an unfair question. Maybe the question should be, do you think Rick would have a change of heart knowing what we know now about this new group, the Alphas? I mean, it has been, what,
Well, knowing
6
what we
years,
know
7
about
years?
Rick, like you said, he does go back and forth a lot, so maybe now
Right.
he wouldn't be. But
Exactly.
yeah, I don't know if he still would have been as steadfast on
Right.
it.
I don't think he would have ever let Lydia in. As soon
You
as
don't
they
think
realized
so?
where she was
No.
from, I think they would have been like,
yeah.
okay, here you go. You know, we've already been through this a long time ago.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And especially just seeing, you know, it's like with the flashback tonight with what Michonne went through with the kids, you're never totally like at peace. So you kind of, I just think that, you know, he would have learned from his mistake, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Well, I have something to share with our viewers.
Go ahead and share it, Angele.
Yes. Hey guys. Hey AfterBuzzers. We love you so much, and we wanted to thank you for being the ESPN, for allowing us to be the ESPN of TV Talk. And we just need your help to grow. So if you're watching us here on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel and any other channels that you may watch, any other shows you may watch. If you watch it, we cover it. And no matter what, we love your comments. We love your feedback. Jump into the conversation. Let us know what you think. And being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to us, and it's all because of you. So let your friends know what we're talking about. Allow them to jump into the conversations. And we love AfterBuzz.
Yes.
We do the show for you guys, so this is exactly, I mean, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here doing this. So thank you for being so loyal. Like Angele said, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment, tweet at us. We love interacting with you guys. We love hearing your thoughts. Speaking of your thoughts, April.
Well, everyone is fully lit in chat as per usual.
Always are.
That's the
We
only
love you
way I know
guys.
how to describe it because it's so amazing. But there's a lot of talk, of course, about the whole thing tonight.
Kids.
The kids.
Yes.
It just taking like what actually happened out of it, just like the sheer artistry of the scene where it's
Yes.
going down, and
Yes.
instead of showing what's actually happening, it's mimicking it in real life with the walkers. But just the look on Michonne's face the whole time, obviously we'll get there, but it's just gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad that you brought it up because
my
that's the next topic that I
I
want
have
to
the
get into.
goosebumps right
Yeah.
now
That
just thinking about
look,
it.
no. Did you guys see that shot where Michonne realized, well, she was being betrayed, obviously. She had that look of betrayal. This is when she's about to be branded, and as she was getting branded, and Jocelyn looked at her in the face, and the camera had Jocelyn and Michonne is screaming,
Yes.
and she's in so much pain, and Jocelyn's like, straight face, like,
Yeah.
take it,
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah.
And it was so epic, like, just that moment for this show. That was everything to me.
It was
That
definitely
shot,
a haunting
it said so
image.
much.
Yes, I do want to take a step back though because we do meet Jocelyn in this episode. We find out that she's a high school friend of Michonne's, which took me aback because, like they said in the episode, it's been 15 years since they saw each other.
Yeah.
And in this world, in this atmosphere, environment, whatever you want to call it, zombie apocalypse, could you imagine finding
Running
like
in-
a high school friend?
That's
I
what
barely
he,
remember
that's
their
what
names
I
now.
when I saw that when they went over that I was like, that's nuts. I'd be like, what?
Yes, and she's played by, I'm sorry, it was, oh gosh, don't
looked
kill me, you
familiar.
guys.
From Queen Sugar.
She's also from True Blood. She's oh
Right.
gosh.
she's
she plays
what's-
Tara.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh,
I
you
was
guys.
wondering why she looked familiar.
Rutina Wesley.
Okay.
Rutina Wesley. As soon as I saw her, I was like, oh my god, True Blood. This is gonna
yes.
be a lit episode. I didn't think that she was gonna be a bad guy though. Did you
I was
guys?
so
Yes, of
You thought
course.
Really?
I
The
was hoping
second
this
that
would be
she's
a
like,
reunion.
the second she's like, Jocelyn, I just looked at her face and I was like, you crazy girl. She really, you could just like feel it.
But even after all of those
I-
kids, she was surrounded by kids.
It was just like it was very ominous. Her entrance was, obviously everyone who comes up to their gates is typically, run down. They've been in the woods for years, whatever. But I guess it's just the way that the episode was set up. I was
Yeah.
like, this isn't going to be like a happy memory, we're BFF type thing. I mean,
Well, and- yeah.
at first I was like, oh, this, maybe they're like, it's a pretend friend, not a pretend friend, but like we're friends, but
Yeah.
I don't really know you. But then to learn that they were close, obviously that just made it so much worse because it was a huge betrayal.
I'm gonna be honest. When we started off this episode, I didn't think that we were gonna go as deep as we did. I didn't think that we were gonna find out. Obviously, I didn't think this thing with the kids was gonna happen, which we're gonna touch on. I didn't think that we were gonna find out what happened with the scars. I also didn't realize that it was only Daryl and Michonne with the scars because when they showed them, I thought everybody had one.
Same.
So I thought it was
yeah.
like a something happened to everybody, and it wasn't just them too. So I'm glad that it wasn't everybody,
Everybody.
so
Yeah.
that it wasn't like a whole big thing. I mean, it was still a big thing.
Yeah,
but
but everyone was deeply
was I the
affected.
only one that was on that page that I thought it was just?
I think, or
I
from
just
what we
saw
talked about
two.
earlier, we thought it was everyone.
Everybody,
We're like,
right?
oh,
I
I
something
wasn't
must
sure,
have happened
yeah,
to the
but
community.
we had
Right.
assumed it was the community in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw the camera do two backs. And
Yeah.
so I knew it was at least two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't think it was the whole community. I thought it was funny. I had a little tee-hee-hee moment when I saw Jocelyn and they made her with dreads. And I was like, okay, the whole Michonne connection, you made her look like Michonne. So I was like, that's interesting. And then There was the former episode, there was a whisperer that had dreads.
Oh, really?
If you guys noticed that at all. I don't know if it was around the time where they were sending Beta after Daryl and his group.
Oh, okay.
But if you look back, there's a whisperer that had dreads, and I thought that was going to be Jocelyn. I was like, huh.
Wow, you were connecting everything. I
You
said,
are.
you were like,
You
okay.
were.
Well, we find out that Jocelyn's obviously not this longtime friend. She's a fake friend, April.
Yeah.
She's a friend of me.
Yes.
Exactly. I wasn't expecting it to take this dark turn. So she's essentially using these kids to...
As her army.
As her army to raid communities. And she says it to Michonne once they have their showdown, like, you know, I didn't know that it was you, and I'm sorry that it is you.
Mm-hmm.
So they've done this before. They've done this to several communities. And
She steals their kids. It
Yeah.
looks like
yeah,
she's stealing
and she
kids.
brainwashes them. So this whole brainwashing of kids thing clearly is a thing that happens in the zombie apocalypse that everybody does.
It's just a crazy moment, mainly because you can tell that the kids are like the ones, Linus and Winnie, I think were like the two main
yeah.
ones. They're so into it. And this person who I'm sure obviously has been protecting them for, you know, however many years that they actually couldn't protect themselves, but is clearly off her rocker. Like that's who they listen to, and they don't know any better. It's, you know, it's not to skip ahead, but it's just like the moment at the very end where Michonne thinks Judith isn't going to come to her because she looks different. Like that's what people do. In that quick of time, they can, you know, brainwash them. And just the fact that like this one lady was able to do it is kind of crazy. Also, I was like, how did y'all raid the whole pantry and the infirmary?
infirmary.
A bunch of
Like,
kids?
How
bunch of
did y'all
kids.
carry all this stuff?
How were you that quiet?
Yeah, that was
Right.
my one thought. I don't
Well,
know.
they're trained killers.
Yeah, so she's
Think
been
about
working
that.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's that guy. He was older. He wasn't
Yes.
exactly a kid. So I
Yeah.
think he was carrying out the evil scheme too. So.
Yeah.
Agreed. Was anybody else getting like Lord of the Flies, Children of the
Yes.
Corn vibes
Yes.
from this
Yes,
episode?
very
For
children
sure.
of the
yeah,
children of
she
the
was like,
corn.
that's what it was.
Yes.
Lord of the Flies.
Yes.
What do you think the ultimate reason for them doing this is? Just to steal supplies and food and
She
whatever?
probably made it like it's a survival thing. It's the only way you survive. But what?
I mean, I'm glad that you asked that question, but I have another question for you guys as well. When she said all the adults in the group didn't make it, do you think it's because she brainwashed the kids to take out the adults
Heck
because they
yeah.
weren't on the same page as she was?
Yeah, it probably
yeah.
started out with a few, and then every time they go to a community, she'd just take the kids with, which is I don't understand.
That's
Why would you want to be responsible for that many kids?
Do we?
That's what I'm saying.
That's
to
another
feed.
thing. Do we wish that this lasted more than just the one episode, that we saw a little bit more of what happened with this? Because it was a really, really interesting storyline. Like
I
you
would
said,
have liked
Krista.
to see kind of how they went about their daily life, you know, what they were
Yeah.
doing before they ran into them, how she collected all these children.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
you
raiding
know,
communities.
right? It's interesting.
It was giving me Game of Thrones again vibes because remember how the kids were killing that the guy Cersei
yes. Yeah.
and how he used the kids to slaughter. So yeah, it was giving me Game of Thrones vibes.
I just
dangerous
think
kids.
that I wish we would have seen a little more of it, but only because it would have taken a little bit away from the
would.
whisperers.
Yeah.
But and like you said earlier, I kind of wanted that. Like I love the way, I think they're great, you know, great characters obviously, but it's like I'm missing that part of The Walking Dead, I guess. I'm missing the parts that we kind of got tonight.
Yeah.
It's like it has been too focused on
The Whispers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean they have to be. Technically
course.
this is new, whatever. But it's like I miss seeing the moments
Yeah.
with, you know, Negan. Like Michonne's chat with him tonight was
Yeah, I
amazing.
miss
I miss
Negan.
seeing her like be so crazy tough and not just like going off like a dictator all the time.
Yeah.
Tonight when the kid freaking stabbed her in the stomach and she just keeps going and just tries to disarm him, like that's I mean I don't want to see like pregnant people being stabbed in the stomach.
that
but
was
it's
tough though.
yeah,
It
it's
was
like
tough to watch.
those are the moments that are like you
Walking
can just
Dead.
that's The Walking Dead. That's what you think of as this being like the most epic thing because you obviously see her going through this emotional roller coaster of like, dear God, I really don't want to kill you, but my daughter's in there and you're going to kill her
Right.
or you're going to kill me or my unborn baby. And she just has to, you know, take him out.
If you
Literally.
guys were in this situation, and this is why we find out Michonne has closed off the gates to Alexandria and is only worried about Alexandria is because of everything that happened with these kids and with Jocelyn, because she trusted somebody enough to let them in, an old friend 15 years ago, and she wound up being crazy. If you were in that situation with Michonne, would you have killed those children?
I mean, I'm not a mom, but I'm assuming if I was, the feeling it's like one of those things what you wouldn't do for your kids. Yeah, it's either those kids or hers, and as a mom, she's obviously her kids take. If I didn't have kids in there, I wouldn't have killed them. But like I'm sure if I did, I'd be like, sorry.
Well, it's like, what other option is there?
Yeah.
Is she just gonna let the kid stab her in the stomach, which would kill the baby?
Exactly.
Or is she gonna kill him?
Yeah.
So not only would Judith die, she'd die, her kid would die. It's like,
So,
because she tried to talk them out of their decision-making process.
Of course. It's not like she just went straight to killing.
Even after Jocelyn died, they were still coming for her. And it's like, well, after Queen Bee dies, you guys are good.
I know,
like,
and
you don't have to do
like,
this.
just run, go away. And
Please leave.
well, speaking of running, when he does run away, do we think that we're going to see her again?
I hope so.
But like, she was pretty well trained. I'm sure she can survive out there.
I thought
Actually,
Winnie
she
was a
could.
boy this whole time. Winnie's a girl? The blonde one.
Yeah, the little blonde girl.
That's a girl.
I thought that was a little boy.
Pretty.
Cute.
No,
Cutthroat.
I think, like, me personally, as a mother of two, it would have been battle of good versus evil. If you're evil, you got to go down.
Yeah. I want to talk about Michonne's change of heart, because we talked about Negan and bringing him back and seeing him, and we do see this moment between him and Michonne. And I do always love seeing them together, because it's, I don't know, I want to say nostalgic in a way, because it's been so long in the show for them. It's been years, and they've known each other for years at this point. I mean, obviously, we've only known them for like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But I like seeing their scenes together because it's so intense. It's like, so like, I hate your guts, but I need you. And he's like, I just want to prove to you that I'm not better, but I can be trusted. And he's like dropping knowledge about Judith to her. Would you have been offended if he was talking to you guys about your own kid?
I mean, she asked him,
In a way.
and it's just, and I know she wants to know, so it's hard to hear though. But like, what you were gonna get, it's Negan, and when you ask him a question like that, he's gonna come at you and he's gonna give you all of his thoughts, his Negan-esque thoughts.
I mean, she did find Judith because of what he said.
That's true. So she got to thank him.
Exactly. And it's not like he said anything.
Doubt that'll happen.
It's not like he said anything bad. Like, he literally was
didn't say
complimenting
anything
her.
bad.
He's like, your daughter is your daughter. But it's just the fact that he knew that and she didn't. Like, it's almost like, oh my gosh.
It's a betrayal.
Yeah, you're this person who tried to kill me, my husband, my other kids multiple times, all my friends. You did kill my friends. And you know more about my daughter than I do because I've been so blocked off because of everything that's happened.
And at the end, they had that little moment. So maybe this will make their relationship stronger going forward, Judith and Michonne.
Yes, of course.
So I think hopefully it was beneficial in that matter.
I think I liked this episode because they, even in the flashback and the present storylines, they were able to tie it together where Michonne was looking for Judith. I thought that was kind of cool.
That was really cool.
She's like looking for her in the past because of she's kidnapped.
Slaughtering people for her in both.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And in this one, she's looking for her because she went out to go find her friends. I'm glad that she's had a change of heart. Are you guys?
Yeah.
Ish. Ish, only because I'm happy that she's like actually listening to Judith, and I'm happy that she's willing to help, these people who she's known for so long, / who have been, in the group involved longer than she has, but who've known Carl, who knew Rick much longer than she has. But I am, it's also like, what's coming, so that's gonna suck also, it's like, so many of them have died that you just hate for more, but obviously it's The Walking Dead and that's what has to happen. But I just hope, I guess I say ish because I wonder how they can do it in a different way. Like,
that's true.
How can they, this, potential maybe attack or whatever, we see the Whisperers, see them at the end of the episode, so we have to like assume a certain amount of things. How can you do it different? Fair. Are you gonna be?
Oh no!
You just Game of Thrones heavy tonight, girl.
Yeah.
No, that was a connection that was made last week.
But like maybe there's gonna be more of them together, but that leaves like other Camp's vulnerable. I don't.
Yeah.
This is why I don't want them separated.
Exactly. But they had this good moment. She and Judith did. I mean, it can lead to a lot of other things, I guess. But it's just like, how can they do it as writers, as a show? Literally, can they, okay, we're attacked. We're going to go to war. We're going to be peaceful for a few years. Are they going to do that again?
true.
Or like,
There's no
how are we
way.
going to do it different
Yeah.
this time?
Also, when it comes to the fair, they keep bringing up Oceanside, but where is Oceanside?
Everyone
they
in
still-
chat has been like, where's Oceanside?
Yeah.
I think Oceanside has gone by the Oceanside. Like,
Yeah, I think, which we know that's what they're known for. They like to keep to themselves
Of
and do their
course.
own thing, but
Yeah.
But like they're
We haven't
prevalently
seen
like they're,
anything,
Thank you.
yeah.
They're mentioned a lot, and we know of what's her face. Oh gosh, she plays the granddaughter of the woman who
Oh,
was
yeah,
killed.
yeah.
I
I can't think of
cannot
her
for the
name
life
right
of
now.
because it's been forever and they don't
Yeah.
bring
So
her back
we have
up.
too
But
many new names.
The young girl who's part of the Oceanside community, she's now I guess the leader. I would assume that she would be having an open line of communication between the communities, especially if they're invited to the fair.
Yeah.
So
like, they
where
have
are
to
they?
be talking to them. They must just, yeah. So I'm sure we're gonna see soon. See what's up with them.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we're already talking about like, oh, they have this group. Is that too much?
Christina
I
or
think. Oh, that sounds like it could be right. But it's like maybe just the writers are literally like, okay, we can like let them take a chill,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
can just pay attention to these people. It's like in chat, Dalton Farine just asked, "Where's Rosita?" We had a lot of characters to keep up with at
There's
this
so
point,
many.
so it's like they kind of have to keep them in.
it
I
is
guess.
truly incredible how many characters this show has.
Agree. Do you guys think so? We saw the flashback, and like I said, it tied up a little bit of loose ends tonight. But we saw why Michonne was closed off and why she closed off Alexandria. Do you think they were going to get a flashback of how the communities reacted to her? Because we saw that teaser scene with her and Carol. And they're still like kind of friends, but you could see that there's something different between them.
Yeah.
Do you think
It
they were
was a
going to
weird
see
energy.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to see a flashback of how the communities react to Michonne's decision,
I
or
hope
do you think
so.
that's done?
I kind of hope so, just because it's part of the show that I like, I guess. And it kind of brings those characters together that haven't been together for so long that I like seeing together. But it's also like, okay, we know everybody was pissed. Whatever, they're getting over it. Now they're moving along. So maybe not, but I would like it if we did.
Me
I
too.
don't like how long they're going without bringing up Maggie.
Cindy.
Cindy,
I know.
thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you,
Oh,
Cindy.
Cindy.
See, I could always count on you
Yeah.
guys for keeping me on track.
I know
I feel
that
the same
I
way.
know. I like that I don't like that they were just like she decided to leave and that was it. I wish we could.
They
have
don't
seen,
even
like,
mention
what,
her.
Yeah, what
Like-
led to that? But that's the whole point because she's gone now.
Yeah.
she's working on other stuff.
I mean,
but-
it's her fault.
yeah.
Yeah, I do
mean,
agree with you, Angela.
It would have been nice
It
to
is
get
kinda
some
weird.
details. Yeah.
Even
They
talk
were
about
just
her.
in on a flashback real quick.
I don't
Like,
think they're gonna poke her in a flashback, but I think that
Right,
they
all
should
Jesus
talk
said
about her.
was she decided to take on, like she didn't want to be
Yeah.
a part of it. That was all.
No,
we
she
got.
went with that one lady who, like goes to all the
Yes.
different
Yes.
communities
Okay,
and like
yes.
collects art and,
and she was
things
gonna.
like that.
She
or
took her
whatever.
baby, and that's what she did. Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
what
that's I
Maggie
guess
is.
all they could do since she didn't want to stay around to give us a
Yeah.
flat or a little more.
yeah.
Any last thoughts on the episode, you guys?
It was just so good. It was definitely one of my favorite ones in a long time. I loved all of the Judith absolutely killed it, and Michonne tonight was just unreal. I literally like tweeted like she deserves all the Emmys.
Of course.
She just did so amazing, and
the lip quivering.
Yeah,
and
she's
Yes.
phenomenal.
It's
the
gonna be
throat
hard when she
swallowing.
leaves
She
next
was
season.
In
Yeah.
it.
It's
She
gonna
was
be
in it. She's
Very
so
hard.
good.
Yes. That is our recap, you guys, of season 9, episode 14, Scars. I want to get into our favorite segment, our favorite kill segment of the episode. There's our
Ooh.
wonderful soundbite. Who's your favorite kill segment this episode, you guys?
I have a feeling we all probably have the same one.
Jocelyn!
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
I also I did like, but just to be different, mine was Jocelyn, but I had written down 2 because I thought we'd all do this. I also liked the one with Judith at the end because it was parallel to her in the past,
Yes.
killing for
Yeah.
Yes.
Judith, and then her killing for her again in the present. So I did like that one. As
I
well.
also had a second backup, which was her killing the kids, even though we didn't see it. And I know that sounds really morbid.
God.
But the
like, I love
toll that it took on her, it really we really understand why she is the way that
It
she
was an
is, especially
important
with
kill.
her protecting, RJ and Judith and the
Yeah.
community and why she closed off. I thought that was a very important kill for her. So that was one of my favorites as well.
I mean, it's lasted 6 years, the
Right.
effect of it. I mean, or technically a little less than 6 years because looks like she's about 9 months pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's had that effect. But I also think just like literally, I read this in an article earlier. It was talking about the actual like when she stabbed Jocelyn, like that was because she was literally heartbroken because it was like, you're my real friend.
Yeah.
Dear God,
Putting me
what something
through
is
all of
wrong with
this.
you,
Yes.
but you have like
Yeah, you
have
gotta
to
go.
be dead.
Yeah.
So it was pretty epic.
Yeah. Let's get into some news and gossip. We've got a few things for you guys, some exciting, interesting things.
Yeah.
That took us by surprise, Krista.
Yeah, guys. So, do you all remember our good old friend Carl Chandler Riggs is now a DJ, and he just dropped a new song. Riggs says acting is stupid awesome, typical 19-year-old. It's also
awesome.
limiting.
I thought you were gonna stop at stupid.
No, stupid awesome, also limiting. While with music, the possibilities are endless. So basically, he's been really DJing hard. He like opened at Electric Daisy Carnival, and he's got a new song with Steve Aoki's label, I don't know what is that, Mock?
Dim Mak, yeah.
Sure.
That's awesome.
And yeah, but his new song is Endeavor, so go check it out.
We did
Yeah.
before we aired, you guys.
Oh, yes.
It's pretty cool.
It is. It's good.
So that's what's up with him. And then also, speaking of Lauren Cohen, who played Maggie, or still plays, because maybe we'll see her again one day. We don't know.
day.
She was interviewing with the off-camera show, and they had brought up her time on The Walking Dead, and they asked if there was ever, like, what was her heaviest moment, or because there's a lot of gross moments in this show, obviously. And she said she actually threw up in season 3, taping with Lori Grimm's. Her
Grimes.
C-section.
Yeah.
She said it was so gruesome and like realistic, obviously, because they needed to make it look real, that she had to go chuff up her lunch after doing it.
Oof.
So,
That's
Which
rough,
makes
man.
sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
No,
all we got for news.
I'm glad that you brought up the whole Lori thing because, I mean, we always forget that Judith is, like, I mean, Michonne
Right?
is her mom, but,
Yeah.
Right.
like, Lori's her biological
I know, I
mom.
couldn't find it, but there was an
Lori.
article that someone was doing an interview with Lori, whoever played Lori Grimes. I can't remember her name.
Grimes,
And
girl,
she-
Grimes.
Grimes, sorry. But why can't I remember her, whatever her actual
Yes.
name is? But she was saying, they had asked her how she feels about, like, Judith,
Sarah
her
Wayne
character
Callies.
daughter. Yeah. And she was like, no, I feel like she's more Michonne's daughter than anyone's, which, yeah, I guess now, but you're her
Yeah.
Well, I
biological
mean,
mom.
she's not even Rick's daughter, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Shot
Good old
fired.
Shane. Good old
Yeah.
Shane.
No.
Now, what would happen if Shane was still on the show?
I don't know, but that brings us into our
That'd be crazy.
prediction episode, our
Yes.
prediction segment, you guys.
And now,
Everybody in
your
chat, let us know what your
AfterBuzz
predictions
Yes,
are too.
please.
We already got one. Russell Havoc 04 says, death prediction: the ones who are getting the least screen time may be on the pike, so you get used to not seeing them.
Oh. See, I'm going to disagree just because when they kill somebody off, they want us to feel connected to them. So I feel like
Right.
they give them more screen time
Yeah.
because
Depends how
it's
much
more
they
like
hate us that week.
because it's more like heart wrenching because we're like, oh my gosh, you like made us love you this season and then you got
See,
killed off.
but that does give me, I think that he might be onto something because I'm wondering if because now they know what, potentially where two of these like, the Whisperers know where a couple of these groups are now.
Yeah.
They know where they're residing, and if a majority of them are going to be at the fair, which now we know Michonne's going to be there, and they're not going to kill her off just yet,
Yeah.
or whatever they end up doing with her, and Judith is going to be there, and Daryl and them are in the woods, so maybe, like, the people that get attacked are people that are behind that aren't at the fair. And she was so worried about, like, sending people to the fair to get hurt. What if, like, the threats now with
Not
the
at the
people
fair.
who, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Which I
point.
hope
I like
not,
that prediction.
because then it's like, but then at least she said, I don't know, it's just hard.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
No. I'm just gasping because I don't even know what to say.
I think the Whisperers are going to ambush the fair, and it's going to be a tragic
Red
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do agree that they're going to attack the fair. I think
Yeah.
You think that's the way it's going to go?
I do think, I
I'll
like
be
your
different and
prediction.
I'll
I
say
think
they're
that's
going
pretty
the
cool.
opposite way.
I do think that they're going to go toward the fair.
I think that definitely, the kind of like newer, I call them side characters because I definitely think some of those will die because
Yeah.
you have to have some. There are all these people that end up dying. I'm like, I've never seen you before. So,
Yeah.
they have those fillers. But someone's definitely going to get taken out. And it scares me because I know it's not Daryl. well, actually, never mind.
I
Take
never
it out
mind.
of the
Never
universe.
mind.
Say that, like,
Never
dear
mind.
God.
Well,
knock on
because
every
I
piece
was
of wood, but-
about to predict, well, Beta's going to come back, and I think he's going to be
I
like
think
the
so,
force
too.
behind going to
Beta's
the Red
coming
Fair.
back.
I
So
forgot
I
about
think he's going to
Beta.
have an agenda against obviously Daryl, who almost
course.
killed him. So I think I don't know.
What about, all I can think is Connie. She's the only one who everyone's been like, oh my gosh, we're
I
obsessed with her
love
now.
Connie.
And, you know, she essentially is, not to me, but she's expendable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's new. This is this. I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see, I guess.
Either way, someone's dying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let us know your predictions, guys. That is, once again, our review of The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 14, Scars. Let our fans know where they can find you guys.
Hey guys, you can find me all over social media at Krista Flengy.
Hey guys, you can find me, Angele Taylor, at Angele Taylor _ Angele's with an E at the end.
Nice. Y'all can find me everywhere at April Wissenhant.
And I am Timothy Michael. You can find me everywhere at I am Timothy Mike. I'm so glad we had a full panel, you guys. Hopefully you can keep this up for next week. We will see you guys same time, same night next week.
Oh, yeah.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.